Hi, everybody.
Hi. I'm going to go ahead and mute. If I could ask everybody to do the same, unless you have a question or something.
I won't be lecturing about the fiber till Saturday because we were alternating weeks.
Oh, okay. All
yeah.
right.
Well, I had said we would alternate for people who, and so I talked last Wednesday. So I was thinking Saturday, just to make it fair.
Sure.
I mean, we could still talk about it. I just won't be doing I was thinking that we would do it Saturday. How is everybody doing?
Great. Suffering through the heat.
Oh my God, it's so hot. We don't have air conditioning either. It's kind of nice to be over here where we do. I don't know why I never think to just come over here and knit, but I don't. I'm too busy, I guess. No, I'm too busy with things that are not knitting. But boy, it wasn't too bad this morning, but the sun was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And our green beans have started coming in, so I had to go outside and pick those.
That's what I did today. Green beans.
Yeah, they surprised me by coming a little early. Well, it's not really early, but we planted late, so I wasn't really expecting them quite this early. So
yeah, we've been getting, your suggestion from that place that had the where you get the seeds. Yeah, and we've been getting them for a week and a half now. We get a handful a day. So if you take 2 handfuls, you then can have a dinner the next, that day.
Yeah. And if you keep the plants well picked of those beans, they'll produce until the frost. They won't stop. Yeah. You'll be
they're
tired.
delicious. They're delicious.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yes.
I actually planted 2 types. I planted those, and then I didn't even remember ordering this other kind, but they seem really similar. The flowers are purple and everything. So we'll see if they taste different. Next time I pick, I'll have to keep them separate.
Yeah.
And Barb will do a taste test and I'll do a taste test. And then we have squash and peppers are starting, and yeah. Everything's coming now. Eggplant, we had eggplant the other night. And our tomatoes are so funny. Every year, every single year, on the 17th of July, there are like 2 cherry tomatoes that are ripe, and maybe like a couple more the next day. And then there's a 2-week period when nothing, and then they just come like a tsunami. So that's gonna happen too.
I'm surprised here in Connecticut we're that far ahead of you growing season wise, because I would think we're on the same lot, like whatever it is, latitude, or I've had beans for probably over a month, and they're now at the point where they're not good. Because I think it's been so hot and dry. I have boxes on my porch, so I tend to water them much better than around. But
they
yeah,
need a lot of water.
They're done. My cucumbers are done.
Most beans are done. Like most beans have a life cycle or a production cycle, like bush beans tend to. But these are climbing beans.
Oh, nice.
They're green beans, but they're pole beans, and those type will continue producing as long as you keep the vines well picked. And they do get, once the days get really a lot shorter, they'll get a little tougher and sparser, but they will keep producing still though, if you want them to.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been years when David pulled them out because he just couldn't stand them anymore, But
we're getting peas now because we're behind in Maine. It'll be a while before we have beans.
Yeah. I mean, we always get our garden in late, Mindy. That's why, this is our time.
Yeah, because I always think of Ohio in Connecticut are kind of on the same, you're not
Yeah.
much more north than us. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I would say that we have about the same warmth as the New York City area, Connecticut, and certainly warmer than like the Albany area or upstate New York.
Right. Right.
But we just, because May is such a busy work month, we can rarely get the garden in. And it can be really cold here.
Okay.
So we were just lucky this year. We had a really hot June. It was cold in the beginning, but then it got hot. I think it just really made everything go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
May I ask a question about this new pattern?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a little confused on row 5. Hi, by the way. On row 5, it starts in that optional 1 stitch. The pattern starts in the optional 1 stitch before the marker.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The 1 stitch isn't optional if you're working flat.
Well, I don't mean optional.
Oh,
It's an
remain.
extra stitch before you start the pattern. The
right,
bulk of the pattern.
Let me open the pattern.
Yeah. Take your time.
I have to find it.
It's chart E.
Yeah, I know. I don't have it in my, I have to open it. Hang on. Let's see. Hopefully I can.
Sorry, that's my guy.
That's okay. You're working with the chart?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart.
Okay, uh-huh.
Okay.
On row
The pattern
5.
starts between the 2 markers. And then at the end of that line, it tells you to knit 3.
Uh-huh.
Does that really mean knit 3, or does that go back to the yarn, knit 2 together?
Well, first of all, you shouldn't be using markers anywhere except where it says to have a marker.
Okay,
Because if you can look at that first remainder stitch, obviously on row 5, it's not just 1 stitch, it's 2 stitches that you're using. So you're sharing stitches between the repeat and the remainder there. You see what I mean?
no,
Well,
sorry. Wow.
you need to borrow from the first repeat to do
Right.
that first knit 2 together. And you'll be borrowing from every repeat across the row until, if you look at that last repeat,
I get it. That the last one you knit 3.
well, if you look at that last repeat, if you look at it, there are 2 yarn overs and 1 decrease. So you'll be adding back that stitch that you borrowed at the end of the row.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
now?
Yes, it does. Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't getting quite what you meant by borrowed, but I do now. And
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is one of those patterns where you're borrowing and lending between the repeats.
Right.
And so if you're trying to use markers, it's gonna screw up your head to, Yeah.
Which isn't hard to do.
but
Okay, thank you. I got it.
it's a common mistake, and you just need, if you want to use markers, you can, but you might have to move them every time.
Yeah, I
have-
took them off for I was using them up to establish the pattern, but when I got here, I took them off.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Even if you were using them in your head, you have to stop using them in your head.
Okay. Easier said than done. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a fun pattern, though. I mean, essentially, you just
Yes.
line everything up, as long as as long as those knit 2 togethers are lining up in a diagonal line, and the yarn
Yeah.
overs are also lining up, you should be fine.
Okay, that's great.
Hi, Sherry.
Hello.
It's so good to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here. I feel like I missed you all for the last couple weeks.
Now we are having the naming contest. I don't know if that went out, if that information was included in the Clue email, but if not, it will probably be in the
We got
Zoom.
it today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Zach went on vacation and I think maybe didn't set it up. So, anyway, yes, please submit your ideas for a name for the design. Sherry already told me hers and it's a good one.
I already sent it in.
Well, we give up then.
No.
We don't judge it. I mean, we will narrow down the list. You know, we'll eliminate names that have 6 words or, you know, something like that. But or have, you know, or are just kind of out there. Because, and I'm not being, you know, because it's my design, I still want to have a little control over what the list is.
Sure.
It can't be like Anna's a dumbass or something.
Oh, that was my second choice.
Oh, darn.
I know.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, and I was just gonna ask if I could submit a second
Yes,
suggestion.
you can submit as many as you like.
Okay, and it wasn't that one, Ann. It was not that.
It's okay. I think last year Wanda submitted like 7 different ones.
Yeah,
So,
so I submitted one and then something just came to me and so I would love
Yes.
to, okay, good.
yeah.
Thank you.
As many as you like. So I will say, for anyone who hasn't guessed yet, the yarn, this week's yarn number 5 is our Stone Soup DK. So if for people who haven't knit with it or seen it up close before, that's what it is. It's a wonderful blend, and it's Stone Soup was our second yarn, Jose, Sherry, our second yarn, right?
Yeah,
so.
from breakfast
mean-
blend and then Stone Soup.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we did breakfast blend fingering and then breakfast blend DK, but then our second different yarn was Stone Soup. So it's been around in our collection since 2013. And it's always been a real favorite of mine. It's wonderfully balanced. The DK version is soft and cushy and warm and wonderful, and the fingering has a little bit tighter twist on it, and it's a little bit smoother and more firm, a little firmer twist and more durable, but still makes wonderful open work fabrics. It still has really lovely hand for lacy things. And the beauty of the story of how it came about is that the mill that we were working with, we actually bought some of their yarn that they produce under their label for our first club. And everyone loved it so much that we decided, and we love them, that we decided that we wanted to work with them to make yarn of our own. So, I think it was we went to TNNA and they were there. And when we went to visit their table and chit chat with them, they pulled out this skein of yarn and told us, you know, we have this, and it possibly they mentioned this to us beforehand, and this was a test, and they did a test batch, and that was what they showed us. But they had this big pile in their mill, like 300 pounds of leftovers. So leftovers from different runs that were too small of an amount to run through they have larger equipment there, too small to really do anything with. but too much to throw away. And they weren't big enough to be like in touch with, they don't really do hand spinning fiber or anything like that. So, so they had a lot of their Rambouillet wool. They had some Lincoln and Churro and Columbia. And then they had a bunch of silk noil and bison fiber. At that time, they were still doing bison fiber pretty regularly. Now they just don't get very much of it. And llama, the llama down, and they had this huge pile, and they just kept throwing stuff on this pile. And and they were like, you know, we're thinking about just making a big blend out of it. And we just said, we'll take it. It sounded so yummy. And you know, they know what they're doing, and it sounded really good to me, like the different fibers involved. Oh, it has alpaca in it too. So so when they showed us this skein, it was at that time, the first batch was the pumice color. It was just beautiful. It was everything I love about like what appears to be a homemade or a handmade yarn. You know, it was tweedy and bouncy and rustic looking, but really soft. And it had all those yummy fibers in it. And the cool thing about it is that with any blend, and I'll talk about blends more when we do our yarn discussion on Saturday, but with any blend, a blend is always strengthened by the fact that you're blending. So when you blend fibers together, you're actually taking advantage of all the good characteristics of every one, and any like negative characteristics tend to fall out or be counterbalanced by the other fibers. So blends are really prevalent in the textile industry. Almost every larger mill makes blends for commercial use because they just make so much sense. Everything from economy in the price of the contents or economy in shipping weight can be determined by what you put into a blend. Like you can literally strip shipping weight from a garment by blending the fibers a little bit differently without highly noticeable results in the hand of the fabric. It's so fascinating. And at the same time, you can include a very small amount of a luxury fiber, and it will make all the difference in how it feels when you touch it. So for instance, we had an experience later on with a yarn that we made. Everyone who's been in the clubs a long time may remember when we made the yarn with the pearl fiber in it. So we made this yarn that included fiber that was made from pearls, like literally. And that's a whole other story. But that blend only had like the whole blend only had like 0.5% or something, or maybe it wasn't any more than like 2% of this pearl fiber. But if you put the skein with the pearl and without the pearl next to each other, it just stood out which one was which. So with blends, you can make a big deal out of a little bit of luxury fiber, and at the same time you can go a long way to mitigating any negative characteristics of like a coarse fiber or a sturdy fiber, and at the same time retain the benefits of those, you know, sturdier fibers. It's all very interesting. So kind of you know, the more things you put into a blend, the better, as long as you know what you're doing. You know, if you try to mix fibers that have widely differing micron diameters or lengths, you can get into trouble with that, because it won't be a true blend. What'll happen is that one fiber will gravitate to the center of the strand and act like a core, and the other fiber will stay on the outside and wrap itself around. And it's actually like a two-layer yarn instead of a blend. So you're not really getting the benefits of both. You're not really retaining only the good stuff there. You're exposing what lands on the outside of the yarn. You're exposing that to wear and tear. And you know, there are all kinds of things you can imagine could happen in blending different kinds of fiber. But this particular blend has really stood the test of time for us. We knit with it. Barb and I knit with it all the time. Like every design is like, which color of Stone Soup are we going to use for it, and which weight? You know, I have almost all the designs of mine that are my favorites. I have a version knit in Stone Soup for myself. Particularly the fingering yarn is a real favorite for me. It's a weight. It creates a weight of fabric that I can wear almost all the year round. It's really breathable. It has great stitch definition. It's just wonderful. But the main thing in terms of making a yarn is how balanced this yarn is. It doesn't torque. It doesn't shed. It doesn't you know, it doesn't really have thin spots and thicker spots. It's just really, really terrific yarn. And Sherry is smiling her head off because she knits with it a lot too.
It
I don't know.
doesn't pill. It never pills.
It doesn't pill. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. You know, you'll get a first crop of very few kind of pills on it. And after that, I mean, my Ivar is now what, 10 or 12 years old, and it has absolutely not one pill on it. It's just amazing. I love this yarn. So but you know, it's hard in photographs on the website to share all the good things about this yarn. You know, people will constantly write to us and be like, yeah, you know, or they'll ask advice about a yarn, about choosing a yarn. I'll say Stone Soup, and they'll write back and say, it looks scratchy. And you can't really, it's hard with photos on the website to, you know, offset that. But
So Anne,
yes.
how did you replicate then that first batch if you loved it so much?
Well, they had, I mean, they knew what was in that pile in terms of, you know, everything was labeled. It wasn't a rando pile of junk. It was just leftovers. So they had the ability to make a recipe with it.
Okay.
And we didn't, you know, the first couple years that we did it, there was a lot of color variation in Stone Soup, and we felt like we always had to order the same we felt like we always had to order all the colors at the same time to get like a gradient array. But now everything is so much more consistent with it because they've learned over the years how to replicate it better and better, even the colors. So yeah, Cynthia's saying her favorite. What'd you say, Renee? Is it a card? Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Renee cardigan. I wear it all the time. It's the best. And it's truly soft.
Yeah.
And it doesn't pill. So
No.
it's a miracle.
Yeah. It's really and then we have that Highlander cardigan that we've been using in our ads that Sherry knit it for us actually.
I did, yeah.
a long time ago. And I wear that a lot. It's in the shop right now, but I wear that a lot too. Yeah. And I have a counterweights knit in that yarn as well. So Stone Soup is available. So we make it in 5 shades, and it's 5 shades of the same color. So whereas the Kent DK has what, 11 or something colors now, but they're all different. There's an array of warm tones and there's an array of cool tones, and white. Stone soup is basically shades of the same yarn. So and the way that they do that is more colored fiber in the darker shades and less colored fiber in the lighter shades. So, and then the little, I love the little tweedy bits the little speckles that pop off the surface. Janet's saying that she made. So how does your brother like his sweater now that he's had it a few months, right?
He has, but it's gotten warm now, so it's in the closet.
Uh-huh.
Looking forward to the fall and winter when he's going to be able to enjoy it outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a favorite yarn around here and I love it. I love the Targhee Tango for a lot of the same reasons that I love the Stone Soup. It's a different yarn. It's much less it's one fiber or and some fine wool to color it, but it has a lot of the same characteristics as a woolen yarn that Stone Soup has. Stone Soup is it's a semi-worsted preparation that they use at that mill. So they are carding the wool and then drafting it several times before spinning it. So it's not combed, but it has more of a feeling like a combed fiber. It's a little smoother than just a straight up woolen spun preparation. Any questions about like the construction or Sheila?
Hi, and I'm wondering, is it worsted or woolen spun?
Oh, I was just saying it's semi-worsted.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, it's a common preparation method. Yeah, I think we talked about it back when we did the first yarn. So semi-worsted, worsted preps involve combed fibers, and combing fiber makes it straighter and silkier, enables the fiber to pack together a little more closely because you're combing out all the vegetable matter and neps and second cuts, and you're really combing out any remaining I don't know, stuff that might be in it after it's carded. And combing causes a lot of waste, so it's slow, so it's kind of expensive, and not every mill has a wool comb, and the smaller mills that we work with generally don't have them. Although two of the mills, in the years that we've worked with them, two of the mills have acquired wool combs in order to just expand their services. But it does cause a lot of waste in the yarn. So, and it changes it, it makes a denser, much smoother, cleaner resulting yarn. But in doing that, it makes it less lofty and airy and breathable as well. Now, for me, that's a really important factor. I love a smooth yarn, and I like it when a yarn feels super clean and smooth, but I really like it when a garment is more breathable. It, like, for me, for my life, the way I wear sweaters all the time, except in this super hot weather. So sweater has to be able to go through the whole day with me, kind of, and I really like it when it's a more breathable fabric. So a woolen prep or a semi-worsted prep gives you that. Semi-worsted prep also gives you some of the benefits of a combed fiber by making it smoother. And what it is instead of going through a combing process with semi-worsted, you go through extra drafting, which which is the process after carding and before spinning, where the wool is pulled into a strand to prepare it to go into the spinning equipment. And the drafting can be, minimal or maximal. It can go through 3 different draftings to clean it better and make it silkier. Or you can put it through 1 drafting to keep it, more lofty. So, and then some mills have what they call a pin drafter, which when wool is drafted into a roving, it's like a big fat snake that has just a little bit of twist, like a half turn every yard. But pin drafting is where it goes through a drafting machine that has these kind of like a fingers, and it's drafted into smaller ropes that are, stretched more. And obviously when you do that, when you stretch the fiber a little more vegetable matter is going to fall out. The fiber is going to be straighter, and it's going to begin to approximate a combed fiber at that point. Especially long wools will straighten out quite a bit that way. Susan?
I was glad to hear you start to talk about the difference between the Kent and this yarn today, the stone soup, because I kind of felt like before I looked at the email, when I was touching them, they were the most similar of the 5 in my hands. So I wanted to know what you would say about that if you were talking about the 2 wools.
Pretty much nothing about them is the same in terms of fiber content. And what's interesting is they're not even made at the same mill. So several of our yarns were made at one mill, but this one was not. So and interestingly, this mill, in my mind, has a unique, their construction, their approach to yarn construction is a little bit unique. So that particular kind of twist that they use is very different from the other mill. And Kent DK is made with combed merino top and Romney,
yeah,
just those 2 ingredients.
Right.
The stone soup is made with rambouillet, carded rambouillet, churro, Lincoln, Columbia wool, alpaca, tencel,
bamboo,
a little bamboo. And let me just stop there. The list of fibers I'm going to name now together comprise only 5% of the yarn. So the tencel, bamboo, bison, silk, noil, and llama, those 5 fibers represent together only 5% of the blend. But it's that luxury 5% has a rather significant impact on the hand of the wool. So, from that list, you can, oh, here we go with the barking. The blend is, and by the way, because the reason it's called stone soup is because it has so many different fibers.
Right. I know this. I know I'm a reading specialist. I know the story.
Yeah, the fable. I know.
Yes.
We went around and around for months. Like, what can we name this yarn?
Right.
And I don't know.
Perfect.
It just came to me, and it's so funny because it came to me when I was just, kind of letting my mind wander, and my eye went to the bookshelf, and it landed on a Shel Silverstein book, and he didn't write that book, but it made me start thinking about children's stories, and then I remembered Stone Soup, and I was like, that's the perfect name. So, and then all the colors are named after different types of rocks and stones, and so Interestingly, our first batch of stone soup, so we did the pumice color in the club in the fingering weight. And then I can't remember how soon it was that we did the DK after that. But we knew immediately that we wanted more different colors. So we set about creating an array of shades. And the mill was really into this whole project. They were very helpful and co-active in it, in the process. But interestingly, there used to be a sixth shade of stone soup that was different than the others, and that was the travertine color. So travertine was a completely different shade, our sixth shade, and it made use of the moret, of the Rambouillet and the moret color, which is that more of an orangey brown than the gray brown.
Yes. More
And
rustic looking, yeah. Yeah.
It's just a more orangey brown.
Mhm.
And we got it that first time. And then they said, you know, we're not going to be able to continue doing that color. We just can't get that peculiar brown in the quantity that we would need. So, so we had to eliminate that from the lineup by the third year or something, sadly. But Barb, but of course Barb snagged a sweater quantity when we had it, and she has an Ivar knit with it. And Sherry, did you get some of that travertine?
I don't think so.
What about Cynthia? Is that what your Renee is made with, Cynthia? The travertine?
No, it's I think it's the
marble.
No, the first one.
Oh, pumice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pumice. I have a ton of pumice. I still have some of the original pumice from the first club.
Yeah, it's a great color. I like the pumice color. Sorry about that. Is that problematic, that barking? I can't tell.
No.
Like, she's pretty far over, but
it's fine.
It's good.
She gave me the scare of my lifetime today. I'll tell you later about it. But anyway, did somebody else have a question?
So I have a question. Is it River Rock?
River Rock, yes. So
Okay,
this is the
thanks.
darkest shade, yes. And it's such a rich, deep brown. It's got beautiful, so if you look at this yarn close up, you'll see all the different, fiber and fiber colors in it. The cool thing about this yarn is the heritage wools that are used in it, the Lincoln and the Churro, and the Rambouillet all have very beautiful, dark, deep shades available. And Churro is actually a fiber that lots of people can see a blue tone in it. There are, you can get fleeces of Churro that are like bluish gray, like really have a bluish look. And to me, you can really see that in this yarn when you put it next to, not so much the River Rock, but when you're looking at the slate or the granite, you can really see those bluish tones in it next to, say, the, when you put it next to Kent DK or Targhee or one of the other DK yarns that we have.
Is Churro a less common breed, or
It's
I'm looking at, I've got this field guide that I look in and it's not in here.
Oh, that's weird. It might be called something else. It might be like under, like, it might not be under C is what I mean. It might be under
Navajo.
Yeah, Navajo.
Navajo?
Yeah. Churro
Yep,
was the
Navajo Churro. Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Navajo Churro is the first it's the first breed to be domesticated in North America. So it's, and you know, we'll go into all that Saturday, but it's quite a beautiful breed. The wool is a coarser, but I would really like to try doing that sometime. This wool along and also barn box lately just seems like everybody's really up for whatever. And I don't mean whatever in a lazy, I don't mean whatever in a lazy way, but like I'm sensing some like super high enthusiasm for some far-flung fiber types.
Yeah.
As long as I can figure out what to knit with them.
We're counting on you.
Yeah.
This
you know,
fiber is really long,
yeah,
really long.
yeah. Well, a lot of those wools are really like they can be really long, but you can only really use fiber of that length for hand spinning. So if you're milling yarn, you really need to shear sheep at a maximum of like 6-inch staple length. So don't forget too that this fiber doesn't have a real tight crimp, so the locks are going to appear longer than a merino. Like a merino has such a tight crimp, but when you stretch it out, it can be pretty long too.
So what was your projects when you finished them? What were they like when you wet blocked them and washed them? Was there any surprises with the different fibers mixed together in the patterns?
No, I feel like, you know, like a yarn blend, but unlike a yarn blend, the stripes are narrow enough that you don't really see that. In all of my projects, the stripes are narrow. Now, possibly if you were doing really wide stripes, like using all your yarn in one stripe and then going on to the next yarn, you might see some of that. What I tried to do, at least with the 5 patterns, I tried to coordinate the yarns with stitch patterns that would kind of control them, you know, in the best way. But when I did my knitting, I didn't just stick to those pairings. So no, I think the biggest surprise for me was how beautifully they blocked, you know, the pieces, every piece, the long skinny ones, the circular piece, the blanket, all blocked just beautifully, like really straight edges, really standout texture. Nothing seemed like flappy or flabby next to something else. I really love the way that they all work together in my pieces. And the color, and I keep saying it, but I think the colors are so handsome together. I'm super happy with the way that all worked out. And believe me, that was mostly up to chance, you know.
Maybe a little bit of chance, maybe a little bit in Mother Nature. I took a natural dye workshop with Trudy Von Stralen, and one of the things she said is Mother Nature, I mean, she may not have phrased it this way, but nature is really good with color. The colors look good together, and these are all natural colors. So
yeah,
that helps to make them. I mean, and I don't mean to discount the fact that these all look really nice together, but.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I always say to people that come into our store, don't worry about combining things. You know, they will all look good layered up with each other. I think what I was getting at was that we did blend colors for this. Like, so what we ended up with was an array of tones and contrast that I think is pretty perfect.
I agree with that, and that's why I meant I didn't mean to
like
take away from that fact, but it's
there aren't any two colors that you have to keep separate because they don't go together. anything like that.
Or
You
they
don't-
don't have enough.
Can you show your
contractors.
samples again?
Yeah, let me go get them. I think they're, I'm not sure where they are. I have to go find them. I wish I had the cowl. I don't know if that came back or not.
Anybody else finish their projects?
I'm getting to the end, but not there yet.
This is my cowl.
That
Oh, how pretty.
Pretty. I like it. I have 5 stripes.
There you go.
Nice.
Very
So-
nice.
Oh, look at that. I knit a cowl, and it went home with the photographer, but it hasn't come back yet. But this is the large scarf. So pretty. Yeah, it's pretty big. I think it ended up being about 70 inches. This one. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I know I'm too close.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Very.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Let me just hold up the fabric. So see how nice and flat it is? It's just, and it's keeping it, you know, it's not curling or doing anything weird or trying to break out of its, the block shape is so square and nice, and the texture just pops off the surface of the fabric.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm super happy with it. And then, so that's the large scarf with just the 5 stripes as written. It's not like stretching out lengthwise or anything. And then this is the lap blanket. Let me also, let me push back and hold it up. So yeah, you
Very-
can see it covers me like pretty well.
Yeah.
And if I sit down, it covers from my ankles pretty much up to my lap, up to my waist. So if I was like lounging around knitting, I could just throw it over my legs. It would be perfect. And it measures what the pattern says. It was a little smaller when I was done knitting with it. So it was about, I think it was 26 or 27 inches unblocked in width and like 30 inches in length. And then when I wet it and laid it out, it was like 34 by 30, I forget, 32. So I didn't pin it. I put it on wires and just laid it flat to dry, and it shrank up a little bit while it dried, and it ended up perfect at the perfect 30 by 32 size that I had estimated. I had calculated the size by the gauge, and it came out that size. Now the several weeks ago on Ravelry, I did a post in the thread, in the mystery wool long thread, about how many stripes you should knit to get width for the blanket, width for the big blanket, etc. And I have added that information to the pattern in the intro notes. So for the people who have been downloading separate clues, you would have to re-download the intro to get that update, that updated information. But for people who've been downloading the comprehensive pattern every week by week, you have that information back in the intro notes. And then once we have final photos and a name for the pattern, I'll post that complete pattern on our website and in Ravelry. I'll probably leave the separate pieces there for a while, just in case anybody needs them. And they'll probably go away in 6 months or whenever I remember to go back to it. So if that makes sense.
Someone was asking about the Rhinebeck cow. It's in the latest email that went out today.
Yep. Yeah, it's not very far away. Like 2 weeks from Saturday. We'll be starting our Rhinebeck knit along, our sweater knit along, which is the happiest knit along.
Yes.
They're all happy knit alongs. We love our knit alongs. So get thinking about what you want to knit, right? You can even knit a dog sweater, right? Come on up. Poor Erin. She has a UTI and she was dribbling all over the house. So we have a diaper on her. We have a diaper on her. Right. Oh, she's coming up to say hi. Say hi. You want to go out? Do you have to go out? She might have to go out. Like every hour, right? Yeah. I know you love outside, don't you? So today, she loves outside and she has to go out multiple times a day just to zoom around the yard. But she loves chasing trucks. So we live between two streets. Our property is shallow and there's a back street and a front street, and the back street is pretty busy because there's a doctor's office and our stores over here. So every time a large vehicle goes up the back street, she has to chase it all along the fence. And if she's inside the house in the front, she chases through the house. So the FedEx guy and the UPS guy stop almost every day. And both dogs get up in the windows and bark, 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 bark like they're going to eat them. And the FedEx guy jokes his way up the walk. They all have a thing going. So today he came and dropped a Chewy box off. And I opened the door like 10 inches and blocked the opening with my body and reached my arm around to get this little box. And she goes up over my head out the door. Like the door is open like this much. She just ran right up my back and vaulted out the door with her diaper on and chased the truck up the street. And she's so fast, like she's like lightning. And thank God and she wasn't running away. She was just chasing the truck. So thank God the truck stopped halfway up the block. He's yelling at her, go home. And she's running around the truck like, look at me, I caught you. And thank goodness he just engaged her for a little while I could run after her with a leash. And she came right back to me, but I had visions of Cardigan did this when we first had her. After about 8 weeks, she did this and was gone for 8 days. And of course I had visions of, and Erin, was lost for 9 months this winter. So, but she wasn't running away. She was just having a game. She comes running back to me like, look what I did. I caught the truck. Just does anybody have questions about the pattern or the pieces, size of these pieces or anything like that?
I don't have a question about the pattern. I have a question if anyone else screws up the first row of the pattern. I'm doing the first row of our one, which is the yarn over knit two together, yarn over. I got to the end and it wasn't right.
Oh, no.
There's nothing more annoying. I have gone over it 4 times and I think I found it now.
Oh.
Don't know if anyone else has that problem, but if you do, I feel your pain because I feel mine.
And you have to adjust your stitch count. So you have to read that last decrease or increase row then.
I needed for the circular, I needed to increase. I didn't think so. For the circular cowl, I needed to increase.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't think
that-
so. I don't think so on the circular one,
Okay.
unless somebody wants to correct me before I get more confused.
Yeah, no, it looks like no.
That's how I read it, yeah. I wondered if I'd missed something because I usually doubt myself, Anne, and not you.
Lots of stitch markers. That's how
Oh,
I
no.
do.
I can't stand a lot of stitch markers.
I can't stand making a mistake.
And this pattern doesn't lend itself to stitch markers because you're sharing stitches between the repeats.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. And you end up moving them all the time, but
yeah, I mean,
it's training
go-
wheels that I need, you know, so. yeah.
Chrissy, that's really good.
Thanks. Thanks. You know, I'm not crazy about the stitch markers either, but at this point, it's training wheels that I need. And that's how I look at it. And so.
Are you gonna knit? Are you gonna knit a sweater with us?
I'm thinking of doing a barn box, the one in September. But you know, I go back to work in about a month, and so things are just so different when I'm working full time. I'm just tired all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You have the Zooms on Sundays, don't you?
It's Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. Saturday.
So.
Oh, a barn box is Sunday. The barn box.
is Sunday.
Yeah, barn box is just one Zoom per shipment. So it's just once for every shipment, and it is on Sunday. Yes.
Okay.
And then the sweater the sweater knit along Zooms are on Saturday and Wednesday, just like these.
Well, I have never knit a sweater for myself. Well, I have, but they didn't ever fit. And so, you know, fit is crucial. So that's where I would get stuck, you know. And I've talked to my friends at the yarn store, and, you know, one of them who works there says, well, just bring in a sweater that fits you. Well, I don't have a sweater that fits me, you know. Yeah. So that's why, and of course I could make a sweater for someone else, but I'm too selfish for that. But I would like to. I would definitely like to. We'll see.
Wendy had a question that flashed up. Let me just see if I can. Is it in the chat? Let's see. Can you show us the samples again? Hang on. Oh, did I answer that now? Oh, the Stone Soup DK, you know, so she's asking about a cardigan to knit in Stone Soup DK. Her home office sample is knit in Stone Soup DK, and I can show it to you. Okay. Right here. Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a jacket style sweater.
It's a V-neck. I mean, the home office is a super comfy. Let's see. It's got that neckline.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Nice pockets. Saddle shoulder styling. I'll get it down and put it on so you can see it on.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect Saturday sweater or any day sweater.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Let me move this chair out of the way. Put it in there. So the pockets are nice and deep and big. The it's got the saddle shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It's a generous length. I mean, you can make it any length because you can shorten it or lengthen it accordingly.
Right.
It's fantastic TV knitting. You can, it's super, it's mindless to knit, but with enough going on, just enough going on, that it doesn't get boring. And yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the pattern includes a pullover as well. So you can, and the V-neck or the crew neck option. So you can make it a crew neck, a V-neck, a pullover, or a cardigan, all the same pattern. So,
Or multiples. You can make more than one.
yeah, you might want more than one. Ask Barb about
So what if you knitted that in the Kent?
You can knit it in Kent too. Any of our DK yarns will work for this. And we've successfully used our sport weight yarns.
Oops.
Oops. Sorry.
She'll be back.
Sorry, I moved the table and my iPad went toppling. We've knit it in Targi Tango in the Fin Dandy. Yeah, so if DK is a little heavy for your climate, the sport weight will work. There's really so many options. Right?
I'm still thinking about the difference between the Kent and the Stone Soup. And I like if I'm blindfolded, they feel very much the same, except I feel a little bit coarser in the Stone Soup. But that is in Stone Soup.
Yeah.
Which is drapier? Give me a comparison. They intrigue me.
Kent is drapier. So Stone Soup will tend to shorten a little over time. I always knit an extra inch on my Stone Soup sweaters, and I make the sleeves an extra ½ inch longer for myself because I wear my sweaters and wash them. I really do wear them. So over time they tend to contract a little bit, and if not, they don't felt, but when you have a sweater for a long time, it will full up a little bit. Okay. And the Kent DK is a silkier fiber, so it will relax out a little bit more and be a little drapier. I think I need to take her out. I'll be back in like 5. Okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I may just
Really
take
the sweater off before you go outside.
Yeah, I know. It's well. I'll be right back. Aaron, come on. Aaron, come here.
Was that the new sweater that she was wearing?
Oh, that's her home office that she designed a while back.
Oh, home office. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the yarn?
The one she had on was Stone Soup.
Somebody asked for pattern recommendations. I knit the the name escapes me. Jose, what did I knit out of Stone Soup?
That's so not helpful.
Dandelion honey, didn't you do it?
I'll be Googling. The name escapes me.
Yeah, dandelion honey. I knit dandelion honey out of Stone Soup.
Okay.
But
the fingering sweater out of Stone
Yes,
Soup?
I use the fingering.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've got 3 sweaters and stone soup fingering and I love them. Yeah.
Yeah. I knit a pair of gloves a couple of years ago that I wear for hiking and camping that, I mean, they're great. They're warm, they're sturdy.
Yeah.
I like knitting with it because it's interesting. It has little nips and nubs and
Yes.
texture.
nice.
It's I love it.
Yes,
too.
I really love knitting with it too.
For the sweater sale, I just bought a bunch of the stone soup pumice for the triticarium sweater.
Good. Triticum. Yep.
Triticum?
Triticum's a good one.
Nice.
That's a-
I'm looking forward to doing it. For the
That's a
knit
nice
along.
sweater.
Gorgeous knit. Yeah.
That'll be great.
I have sweaters in both the stone soup and the Kent. And I could say the way I describe stone soup is that it wears really well. It's a workhorse yarn. And think of it like a denim. It softens the more you wear it, and it's very lightweight on the body, and it breathes so nicely. So I did a full like tunic dress in the fingering stone soup, and it covers my butt. So when I sit, it's more of like a dress. When I sit, I don't have any pills on the butt at all. And then I have a cardigan that's in the Kent DK, and it's much more of a fluid fabric. It flops over a little bit more. It's a little bit more luminous, shiny.
Yeah.
It does pill a little teeny bit more than the stone soup. And I would say the more I wear it, the more I notice that it seems to self-felt, and I'm really hard on my knits. So I think stone soup makes an incredible performance fabric that's really different than a single breed yarn.
That's really cool.
It's very dynamic, and it knits up, and when you wash it and block it, it's so much softer than in the skein. So you can't necessarily go by, oh, this feels like it might be a little bit rougher or something, because stone soup's one of those yarns, sort of like the Targhee. It really transforms once you get the oil off of it and really get it knit and blocked.
It becomes more plush.
Yeah,
it's
and
plush. It's very plushy.
And I would say also stone soup, I feel like just a simple stockinette stitch, like swatch of fabric, it seems to have a lot of stretch to it. So that's another reason why I consider it really a performance yarn that's so fantastic for anything that's everyday, live in, and it's lightweight. So you know, it's not like if you knit a big cabley sweater out of it, it's not going to weigh you down, you know?
It does cables really well too. The stitch
Yeah.
definition, even though it's really soft and plushy, the stitch definition is good.
It's a really unique yarn, and it's one of my all-time absolute favorite yarns. And I've been known to sleep in stone soup all around my neck because the room's too cold.
She's not really lying.
And
Yeah,
I sleep in my woolens a lot too.
but I love the
Edmonia.
print too. They're just different. And I recommend, you know, fooling around with both, because, and this knit along's so great, because when you block it out in the project, you'll be able to really see how different they are. And they both have different qualities, but for
That's
me,
right.
I'm tough. So
Right.
I love stone soup because I know no matter what I make out of it, it's gonna be phenomenal. It's not gonna be too drapey. It's not gonna sag. It's gonna hold up well. It's really great.
I
Catherine,
made
can I ask you a question, Catherine?
Sure.
Where do you live?
In North Carolina.
North Carolina. I think you said once you're from Wilmington?
Yes, I'm down at
Well-
the beach. Yep.
Yeah, my sister-in-law lives in Wallace.
Yep. that's
And
really
we
close.
went to visit her in Wallace once, and we spent a day in Wilmington. My comment is Wilmington's a beautiful city. And
great.
we had a great day. I'm sorry, that's very off topic, and I apologize.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
Wilmington was a beautiful city. And I thought you said Wilmington once upon a time, and I think that, and if it's North Carolina, it's a beautiful city, and that's really all I want to say. I enjoyed my day in Wilmington. It was beautiful, hot as heck, but we were there in the summertime. But just it's a beautiful place. I'm out.
Well, thanks. I've been here
Yeah.
22 years. I've really
Yeah, and so if anybody asks, it's a beautiful part of North Carolina, I thought, because the city is wonderful and I love the ocean, even if it's not the Pacific. So.
Oh, I think the Atlantic is far superior, but
Oh, okay. Well, we can argue about that some other time. So anyway, that's
Catherine,
all I wanted to say. It was beautiful.
yeah.
Catherine, I appreciate you talking about the distinction between the two. I purchased in the sale Kent worsted for Vendage.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And
That
I'm
was
feeling-
gorgeous.
Gosh.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about that purchase, but once I learned, I'm new to this game, obviously. Once I learned about Stone Soup, I was just like, oh, maybe I should have done it in this. But
I
Stone
think
Soup's not
you made
bad
a great,
enough.
yeah, I think you made a great choice because the Vendage was originally designed for her Chabris worsted,
uh-huh.
which is a very silky yarn, which had a lot of drape to it. It had mohair. So the Kent is an excellent choice for that pattern. I would say it would be my #1 choice. Is she doesn't make the Chabris worsted anymore.
Okay.
So, but her goat is the same percentage, but it only comes in figuring and sport weight now.
Right.
And
right.
the old Chabris was what, worsted and sport weight.
And sport. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Kent is definitely that. The Kent worsted is, I think, excellent for that pattern, and also for the Oculus coat.
Okay.
Is very similar with the more modern sort of looking cable of hers. And then the Stone Soup's going to give you more body and less drape. So since the Vendage was designed for a drapey yarn,
Yes.
I think it would look amazing in both, but I think that detail will really pop with the luminous sort of shine that's in the Kent.
Well, listening to you without you knowing what I'm thinking, I thought, yeah, the Kent was the right choice. Absolutely.
Yeah, either one would be good, but I really recommend doing a sweater in Stone Soup, and you'll find it'll be like your favorite pair of jeans, you know, growing up or something, because it does really soften, and it's almost like what's it called, Cynthia, when people put on the heavier sheets, the sheets that they
Flannel.
Oh,
Flannel.
Flannel.
It's like
It is,
flannel.
it does sort of flannelize, but I gotta say, it's really hard wearing. I made a gigantic shawl called Edmonia that was in interweave knits. It's Anne's pattern, and I made it in Stone Soup fingering. And I wear it when I travel, and people step on it, and it gets dirty, and it's warm, and it just kicks right back when I wash it.
Yeah, I
that's
travel
how
with my Stone Soup shawl all the time. The fringe tree, that was a club project. It was designed for Stone Soup when she first made it. It's a fun knit if nobody's ever done it. And that thing is a workhorse. I have abused that thing from here to eternity.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
trust me, I wash it and block it and it just bounces right back. I've caught it on zippers. It's been zipped in its face. It just, you know, it's the yarn that just keeps on giving. And so when you're investing so much, or you have, let's say, a guy or a son that isn't going to be as careful, perfection. But for me, I got to tell you, when I knit my dress, my Elas Ciez kind of tunic dress, I wore it, I think, for 3 months straight. My builder got tired of seeing me in it.
It doesn't, when you wear it, it doesn't bag in the butt. It
No,
bounces
not
back.
at all.
So that's
Good.
cool.
No.
That's good.
And I mean, I'm not a small girl. And so, you know, I would have a huge area of pilling for my big wide badunkadunk, and I get no pills. So I just cannot praise it enough. But I also love the Kent too. And I just got a sweater quantity of the Kent from the sale. So I know exactly what you mean. I love that one too. So.
I skipped the sale.
But good luck, Susan.
Well,
I hope you're going to join the knit along and knit that with us.
Oh, I absolutely am.
Yeah,
I am. And just being introduced to these new wools with the Stone Soup and the description of all of the different blends that went into this, all the different wools. I come from a family of a 4-generation company that makes, that my grandfather was from Italy and made terrazzo. And when we talked about travertine earlier and that rusty color, there was a certain, if you don't know terrazzo, I use it to sit and fold when I'm making ornaments with fabric. I use
love
samples
terrazzo.
of my dad's terrazzo.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Cement and marble chips. And what they, and this isn't the travertine example, but it's just like stone soup, where you take all these different beautiful natural marble chip colors and create a beautiful flooring out of it that wears like hell, you know. Like we're saying stone soup doesn't pill and all of that. And I'm sitting here making that connection for the first time and thinking, you know, nature, it's true. When Anne says you put things together, and if it's from nature, it all goes together. You can't make a mismatch. And I've seen that growing up and from my family's business, that, you know, all these beautiful hues of marble chips combined to make beautiful flooring and mosaics and such, that it's the same thing. So my next purchase will definitely be a stone soup.
Yay!
This stone soup.
And you just discover
This
what's
is-
so much fun is just how all
it
these
is.
different yarns behave. So
Yeah, yeah.
What shawl is that, Anne?
This is stone soup fingering in the Walking in Shade shawl. It's it's the granite and the slate shades together.
Beautiful.
It was such a hit at the Maryland Sheep and Wool. And
Yes.
we've had this sample for a while, but look how sheer of a fabric you can get with that, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's so versatile.
It's so exciting to see how, you know, nature comes together in so many different mediums. You know, it's amazing.
well, and I would just add that I consider stone soup to really be a 3-season yarn. I mean, you guys just heard I'm on the coast of North Carolina. Obviously, I'm not wearing my stone soup sweaters right now, but starting in September, and when the air conditioning, some people still have the air conditioning going in September, and I get chilly, I'm using my stone soup shawls, and I'll take them to the movies. But then once the heat breaks, I can wear a stone soup. You know, we'll start out in the fall and spring days where it's like 50, and by 11 o'clock, we're up to 72.
Right.
I can wear those sweaters in the morning, and when it hits 72, I can still wear it. Now, when it starts to get into 78, I can't necessarily wear it. But for me, where I live, I can wear a stone soup piece almost 3 seasons, pretty much just the tail ends of spring and fall, depending on how the year goes, sometimes no. But the rest of the time, like I said, I wore my stone soup dress for about 3 months straight, starting in February when I finally had it finished. So I was wearing it in April here. It's a really great performing a yarn.
Wow.
And I would like to say too that I have the same experience. Like, you know, when we work a show, sometimes in the morning the buildings are chilly. I throw a sweater on, even if it's summertime, and I usually pick the Seafret and stone soup to put on over a t-shirt. And the booth gets busy, the day gets hotter and hotter, and I just don't even notice it until like late afternoon. And what's really nice about the stone soup is I can wear it right next to my skin. You know, I can wear it with, you know, it doesn't bother my neck, it doesn't bother my arms if they're bare underneath it. So it's more than the Kent DK for some reason. It's, for me, more friendly to my skin.
And how much Columbia is in the stone soup? Because I'm in Oregon, and so lots of Columbia sheep out here, and it's one of my favorites. And that's what it reminded me of when I first started feeling it. And then when I looked on the website, I was
It's so
like, oh,
funny,
of course,
just like-
that's why it feels like
just-
Columbia.
Just like the real stone soup, it has, everybody can pick out their favorite vegetable. So the wool, let's see now, the wool portion of stone soup is about 80%. It's got 15% alpaca and 5% of the list of luxury fibers that we talked about earlier. Of the wool portion, 60% of that is the Rambouillet, and the rest is the Columbia, Churro, Lincoln. And it's different for every color, Wendy, because because some of those sheep don't produce color fiber. So in the really darkest shades, the Columbia would probably be lower because you don't get the colors. I think it's just white fleece from that breed, at least commercially available. The Lincoln and the Churro would play like a larger part than the Columbia. And then in the lighter shades, there would be more Columbia and less Lincoln and Churro. So you do get those little variations in that 40%. Well, it's of the entire blend, probably like a 30%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the labels. That was great.
Yeah. We always planned on doing that. We just didn't want to do it until the end, until you had all your
I keep
yarn.
showing how new I am to this.
No, it's fine.
Where are the labels? I think I missed that.
It's a free download on the website.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess it would be on the freebies page or
It was actually in the clue that you sent.
I know, but I mean, on our website, it's probably on the freebie. If you go straight to the website, there's a page of free things and it's probably there. But yes, if you can look up your email from yesterday, it should be there.
Okay, so I just participated in the most awesome yarn chicken in history. That's how much I have left. And I only did one repeat. I did the wrap, I think, whatever. And I only did one because I want to make a matching hat and mitten or gloves with the yarn. But yay!
Oh wow!
Because as I'm doing it, I'm like, oh my
Beautiful.
god! Yay!
I just want to say that this has been amazing. I've loved this knit along.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And learning about these wools, and they're so cool and interesting. So thank you, Anne. I would love
You're
this.
welcome. We're already making plans for next year for this. I have to think of a thing we can make because there's like, I mean, because it'll of course have stripes and or different colors at least, and but I'm thinking maybe a big shawl or wrap, it could be a rectangle or a triangle maybe, and just kind of do the same thing where it's a simple design that we can knit and talk, but obviously the main thing is the yarns, but we want it to be beautiful too. So
I feel like the square projects with the simple stripes really allows the yarns to shine as opposed to something with fancy shaping.
yeah, I mean, my thought about a triangle would be just very simple, kind of, that it wouldn't be fancy stitch work or anything, just letting the yarn kind of talk. I feel like when we do something like this, that the stitch pattern should be as close as possible to a similar, like all knit purl or even if it's open work, like a couple of these are, that they're very simple open work that still marries well with the other patterns. That way you're not throwing a bunch of other distractions into it. You can really just focus on the wool. Well, and I'm super happy that we really picked up several new faces that I hope will stick around in our knit-alongs and participate with us, because we have these discussions in every knit-along, you know. They're I mean, these discussions don't have to just be limited to this kind of a project, but all of our yarns really are discussion worthy. They're even the ones that we don't have yet. I mean, you know, for next year, we're of course already looking for a different yarn, but we've got some great, I gotta say, we've got some great leads. If they all pan out, both Barn Box and the Mystery Wool Along will be very exciting next year.
I do a lot of knit-alongs and they don't usually have a series of Zoom calls. They might have one or two or something like that. And I also join clubs, and your yarn is by far the nicest. This has been, I look forward to it. My husband works night work, and at about 5:45, I'm like, go to bed. I need to be on a call.
Yeah, excuse me, I can't come to the Zoom meeting until I put my husband to bed.
I know. I'm like, come on now.
Hey, I suggest potentially Navajo churro as a yarn, just because I've never seen it before. And now I'm interested. But also, if you're thinking about a project, I loved the wedge shawl we did, like C or the Jacob one with the blue from the Pairings Club. That was really fun, and that was just striping. So just
like the one I just held up, which is a super simple open work stitch pattern, and then you alternate it, just like those garter ridges in the piece we did. You alternate it and then go to the next one, and that could be, you know,
exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. You know, something very simple. Yeah, you weren't here earlier when we talked about the churro. I don't think. Did you just?
I was. I've been here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah,
That's
we
why
got.
I'm curious to see what pure churro it looks like, because I've never seen it.
I think there are a couple. I want to say that the Imperial Ranch produced a churro yarn, but I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that.
Never heard of it.
Imperial Ranch yarns?
Yep, never heard of it. But
they're out in
Oregon.
They're where?
They're in Oregon. They're in
Yeah.
a town. They're based near Shaniko, which used to be the wool capital of the West. In the late 1800s, millions and millions of pounds of wool were shipped through Shaniko, and now it's a ghost town. But their ranch is right outside of town. Their yarns used to be a lot Columbia, and their newer yarns, they've got a variety of fibers. I don't know all of them anymore. I just got a summer yarn that's half their wool, and the other half is a combination of flax and silk, I think. It's a very interesting summer yarn from them.
That's like that
I
meadow.
think I've only seen pure churro as a. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna
I
go
think I've
unravel.
only seen pure churro as a rug yarn.
I've seen
Well,
it
and that
from,
like it has this terrible reputation for being a rug yarn, but it does and like if you go to Taos and go to the Weavers Cooperative and stuff like that, the rugs are stunning, you know, and they do use a lot of the churro, but it's possible to get very soft, and I'm trying to remember if it's dual coated or not. Is there an undercoat?
Maybe.
I think it can be.
I'm
My
looking-
impression is that it's kind of variable in the fleeces depending on the flock and
Exactly.
what else.
It is like a it's kind of like the Jacob, where it is a pretty much undisturbed, an unimproved breed to a large extent. And so the variation is going to be wide across the spectrum.
I think it's
Yes.
Sierra Wools that has the rug yarn. They have a rug yarn and a blanket weight, and they usually do, I think they do some natural dyes.
Who?
Is it Tierra Wools out in New Mexico?
Okay.
Is it in China?
It is a dual coated breed. So
Yeah, I just found that too. Are you Googling
Yeah.
too?
no, I'm reading my book that I wrote. I wrote a for each of our clubs, I wrote a book. And the chapter about the stone soup yarn includes a description of the churro.
It's also considered a rare breed. So the Shave 'em to Save 'em organization includes that as one of the ones.
Yeah.
I don't think it's critically endangered, but it's definitely a rare breed and somewhat endangered.
According to my book, it says it's the oldest sheep breed in North America, and the finer fleeces can be used even in garments such as soft camisoles.
Yeah.
Oh,
It does have a silky fiber.
Yeah.
And just like any, it's one of those breeds almost like a yak where it has multiple uses culturally. So a lot, because it was developed so early, it was domesticated so early and mostly in the Southwest and down into Mexico, there's it has a cultural significance for herders in that area. And so just like with yak, where they are traditionally used every single part of the animal, it's the same thing with this sheep. They have uses. They never needed to improve the breed because they found uses for all the different types of wool that it produced. And there wasn't that drive to change it like you get with some of the other sheep breeds, and what inspired the modern breeds of wool was to have sheep that would do it all, and do it all really well to get the most money per pound. And it just wasn't necessary culturally for this breed.
What I found said the inner coat could be as fine as 10 microns.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
Yeah. I think of it like the yak of sheep. Because it is that really hardy breed and everything.
I think it's also a really important animal and kind of what you were referring to, really culturally significant for the Native Americans in the Southwest.
Correct.
It's a big part of the culture. Meow. And I don't know if you've ever seen some of that. Like I got to see years ago, I think it was in the Heard Museum, traditional Indian blankets that were worn as they were worn. And it was so cool to see how the patterns, I'd always seen them as rugs, but when they were draped across a human, the way the patterns come together is really cool. It's fascinating.
Like a serape.
Yeah. But these were like the chief blankets, and just the way they were just folded to be worn, but the way that fold came together ended up making really
like
beautiful patterns.
like kimonos are designed.
Yeah.
The
It's
use
amazing.
of fabric is intended to create a picture when it's worn. And
Pretty cool.
Anne, can I ask a question about the Targhee wool yarn?
Yeah.
I did a swatch with using a US 10 needle.
Uh-huh.
And, it seemed very loose to me.
Mm-hmm.
Does it really poof up and become a little
Did you wash it?
No, I didn't wash it.
Oh,
Wash it.
yeah. Yeah. You gotta wash it. I would recommend washing it in hot water, hot as you can get it from the tap with soap, and let it soak until it's cool, until the water cools, and then squeeze it out. You'll be amazed.
Before I swatch or after I swatch?
After you swatch.
Okay.
Yeah. I would measure your swatch before you wash it and after you wash it, just to get that info, just to, learn something about how much it's going to change.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll be amazed. The color will change, the texture will change, the hand will change, everything about it will change.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Okay. Fun.
This is the last Zoom session I can attend. So I also want to add my thanks and appreciation for this, and not only learning all these new wools, but also appreciated just getting weekly patterns. And I think if I would have seen this, from the start altogether, I would have been completely overwhelmed and taken me forever to even start. But having a chunk each week really keeps me going, and is a good bite-sized piece to bite off each week. So I really appreciated this. And I might sign up for a barn box in the future.
We enjoyed meeting you, and I hope you'll continue coming to our knit-alongs.
Thank you. I'm not going to do the sweater, but maybe we'll be around for a future barn box sometime.
If you do enjoy the company, of course, you can knit whatever you want. It just won't be eligible for a prize.
Right.
Look for the
Thank you.
Christmas knit along. The Christmas knit along is a lot of like accessory knitting and stuff. The Festivus knit along.
Red scarf.
Yeah, thank you. Red scarf.
I will be on the lookout for that. Thank you.
That'll follow up on right after Rhinebeck, we roll out the Festivus yarn, and we do the fundraiser then, and we produce a booklet, an ebook of 10, I think there might be 11 patterns this time, by a variety of designers, not just me. So I think we have 10 designers total, or 9, and some really exciting new faces this year, and some favorites that have contributed every year by Geeka. And so that'll be fun. It's a whole range of accessories in our Festivus yarn. So
fun. I will be on the lookout for that. Sounds right up my alley.
It's
I
really
saw-
fun.
I saw someone who posted, that's going to be one of your designers, posted the 2 of the yarns and said how excited they were to be joining. And I was going, it's almost here.
Posted the yarns. Oh
Yeah.
man, you got to see them, Debbie?
yeah,
did.
we told the designers they could give sneak peeks. So if you're savvy about picking up on that stuff.
I did.
Like,
I saw it and I went,
Where's Karen Rose? I I have to say, I finally got, with these projects done and my Yarn Discovery Tour project done, which I should have brought over Saturday. I'll show it to you. I finished my Yarn Discovery Tour project. And those were both on a deadline. So I started swatching for my Festivus project. And the yarn is just so yummy. It's really yummy.
I also got one of your postcards about the this Yarn Discovery Tour, and I loved the colors of
Yeah,
your-
everybody got that in their Barn Box package, and we have a lot of those cards, so they'll be going out in all the packages.
Well, I went on my calendar and put down the date I could sign up for it on my calendar because they're pretty yarns. I like the colors.
And the bag is we did a tote bag this year again, finally, and it's really cute. Tiana designed it. So that should all be lots of fun.
So you're talking about this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was knitting with it on Saturday. I showed everybody what I was knitting, but now what I was knitting is finished and blocked, and it's really cute. I'll show it to you Saturday. I don't have it here.
That's how I found you the first time.
Yeah, I don't know if it got posted yet, but Barb and I did a Rhinebeck sweater knit along video the other day. So there's a Barb and Ann video coming up too.
I think that's on Instagram already.
Is it? Was it posted?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And she's wearing the Knotty Pine sweater. I wasn't sure if Danielle was going to save it for when the sweater was actually published or not, but next week.
Well, I absolutely love the Barn Box yarn. I haven't gotten to say anything about it since then, but the Barn Box yarn is wonderful.
Yeah, they were talking about it when I got on tonight. So
I was also listening to something else. I had another Zoom that I was listening to. So
I can't wait to get mine.
I got my sweater quantity of it today.
Mine is on the way.
What sweater are you gonna knit?
I'm gonna make interlocking with it.
Oh, that'll
I
be
think
nice.
that'll feel really good on my skin.
With the DK?
Yes, with the DK.
Yeah, that'll be
wait.
nice.
I'm
I got the fingering. I think I'm gonna do Firefly.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Catherine, I think I'm gonna do Firefly in a different yarn for the Rhinebeck sweater.
Well, my plan is to do Knotty Pine for the Rhinebeck sweater.
Oh, okay.
And then do Firefly.
I was so excited. I thought we could be sweater twins for just a moment.
I really want that for Rhinebeck to wear because I always get cold at Rhinebeck.
Well, it is
I get
really
hot
not
at
your
Rhinebeck.
climate.
I'm always too hot at Rhinebeck. It's hard to wear your sweater when it's hot.
You're coming from Maine and I'm coming from the south.
What are you knitting for Rhinebeck?
I'm gonna do Knotty Pine.
Oh, that'll be nice.
I'm going to do Knotty Pine too.
I gotta look up Knotty Pine.
My hope is that I will
Cynthia's
still do
worsted
Knotty
weight.
Pine faster than I've been with my other sweaters, and I'll be able to cast on and take that Firefly with me to Rhinebeck. I figure it'd be really good Rhinebeck knitting,
Okay,
like all that stockinette and stuff. So
that makes sense.
that's my plan.
It's excited that I can knit again.
I know. I'm so excited that Cynthia's back.
I started knitting again, and it's okay. My my arm is starting to feel better, and by 6 months, he told me today it's supposed to be pain-free, but it's
Yay.
getting there slowly, but it's good.
Was he able to tell whether or not you tore it?
He said I might have popped one of the stitches, but he thought it was fine, and I'm right where I should be at this point in time. So
Excellent.
I had a good day. I'm really happy.
I'm happy too.
I can start strengthening, and I've been knitting, taking it easy, and it's not hurting too much. So yay.
Excellent.
Well, I had made the mistake and said last time I was on here that I had bought the, now I have to think about it. One of them in the worsted for Knotty Pine. Which one did I say? Whatever. Anyway, I was completely wrong. When I ordered, I got the Tango Targi.
Targi Tango.
Because that was the one you did it in, Anne, right?
Yes. I did the cardigan is in the Nuevo color, and the pullover is in the Apolado color.
I got the which one's the darker?
The Apolado is the darkest.
That's what I got.
And then there's the Argentine, which is kind of a medium color.
I think Argentine is what I did Waggle Dance in.
Mm-hmm. Now the barn box yarn, the Seasons yarn, is also an unwashed yarn. So when you swatch with it, it's gonna change a lot when you wash it. So
okay. I was thinking it would be perfect for a tank, some kind of a tank.
Yeah. I was thinking that shawl design would be a really beautiful tank or top, you know, with that pattern all the way down in the hem.
The lace at the hem?
Yeah.
All right, totally. I need that.
Yeah, so maybe I'll knit that during the sweater knit.
Well, the Firefly can be a tank, Debbie. It's just got a sleeveless version.
Yeah. I don't know, whoever made the first Firefly scared the heck out of me.
Oh, Constance. Was it Constance on our knit along?
I think so.
There was some drama.
Yeah, but you'd be totally fine with that.
And it's probably, and it's all the fault of the pattern.
Don't let Constance.
I don't think that's the thing. I think it was the knitter, and I worry about me, not about you.
Oh, yeah, but you did Doolittle. It's easier than Doolittle. You can totally do it.
And besides, look at all the inties you have here to help you.
All the help.
Yeah, I won't let you give up on yourself that easily. I just won't. I'm gonna nag you.
Okay, fine.
See there? She'll be the obnoxious auntie.
That's
yeah.
Okay. Your pressure
We'll play good cop, bad cop. Sure.
Perfect.
Oh, thanks.
Now Anne's got me started thinking I might have to do some math and draw some graphs and see if I can make myself a petals tank top.
Oh, nice.
Or you could just wait for the pattern.
I could. That would be a lot less math.
But that's no fun. Math is good for you.
No, there's no possible way that could be true.
It is. It's good for your brain.
Nope. Nope. That is my least favorite thing in all the world, Catherine.
And how are you such a good knitter? You have to.
I'm an excellent reader of directions.
Oh, you modify stuff. You do.
Yeah, you do all the time.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Cynthia's right.
Cool. Well.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you. See you Saturday.
Yep.
Oh, bye, Jose.
Bye, Jose.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Great talk.
I am always so confused about what time these end.
9 o'clock or 6 o'clock, my
8
time.
Depends on where you
Because
are.
yeah, because on Saturday they end on the half hour, and so I just stop when everybody wants to leave.
Thanks
How
again
many are
for this knit along. It was great. Thank you.
Well, we still have one more on Saturday, so hopefully, will you
Oh.
be here? You have to miss.
I am working this weekend, so probably not.
Oh, and we keep the Zoom rooms open between knit alongs, so we'll be here next Wednesday. And
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bye, Cynthia.
Yeah, I'm departing too. Thank you very much. I won't be here Saturday, but I'll be here next
All
week.
right. All right. See you later.
Bye, Mindy.
Bye-bye.
I'll be here Saturday. Oh, sorry. I'll be here Saturday, but signing off now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good night.
I won't be here Saturday. I'm gonna be in Detroit, but I should be here next.
Oh,
week.
that sounds like fun.
In Detroit for what?
I have a friend who lives in Waterford up near Pontiac.
Yeah.
So it's a
How
quick
are you
visit.
not seeing Sherry?
Yeah, Sherry
Oh,
lives.
Sherry's in Detroit. Hello, Sherry.
Are you
Ding,
driving?
ding, 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 ding.
Right?
Yeah, I'm
Are you-
driving. Where do you live in Detroit?
I live in Trenton, just south of Detroit. If you're on I-75 on your
Uh-huh.
way, yeah, we're about 2 miles off of east of I-75, exit 32.
Okay, I'm going to text you my phone number and we can set something up, okay?
Perfect.
Okay, I'll send my phone number to you in Ravelry, and that way you can send it back to me,
Perfect.
okay?
Oh,
Great.
so
Are you
Honey, say I'm jealous.
busy on Saturday?
I have a family reunion in the afternoon, evening. So maybe I could catch you on the flip side on the way back or on the way up. It just depends on your timing.
Well, I'm driving up tomorrow. I will be there all day on Friday and returning on Saturday. So let me text you my phone number and we will set something up, okay?
Perfect. Yay.
Yay, see y'all later.
Safe travels.
Thanks.
Elizabeth.
Well, yes. Did somebody call my name?
I
or-
said goodbye, Elizabeth.
Oh, bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I love Yarn Company.
Yeah, she's fun. She came last summer. She came here last summer and we went to lunch and it was really fun.
I never
So
saw
does
the
this
sweater she
happen-
made for her daughter.
Oh,
I don't think she's complete yet. I think that's what she's saying is she needs to finish some sweaters up.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
I forget where it was. Last time she talked about it, she was just finishing the body shaping and starting the neck inset. So I don't think she's even separated. I don't think she's at the armholes yet.
But she had some modifications to do to that too, I think.
Yeah, she has to stop and put it on her daughter, but I guess at this point she's all set now. She can go ahead and finish it. And
Oh,
she's got the sleeves done, so I think so she just needs to be disciplined, I guess. Hi, Francis. Hi, Francis.
She's responding to you.
Yeah. Hi,
She heard
Francis.
her name and she was responding.
Yeah.
Francis, what? Hello.
Francis looked so cute in Anne's sweater that she
In a
designed. Yeah, and the pop over. Oh my God. With her little white on her face.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. Just saying.
Yeah, in a red.
She's pretty great. She's having some more medical issues, so we're a little nervous about it because it could be neurological.
Oh, no.
She's losing her back end every once in a while and just doesn't
Oh.
feel it. And this is happening just as the Addison's disease set in. So
How old?
she's 6, but she's a rescue, and she's about 6. And she's been through a lot in her life. So we didn't ever expect her to live a long life, but we hoped she'd never have to go through anything else because she went through a lot of medical stuff, but here we are.
Oh,
So,
and they don't have a super long lifespan anyway, but
yeah, we had one Great Dane that lived till she was 12.
wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
one that was 10, but most of them were 9 or 8.5. So
That's amazing for a Great Dane. That's amazing.
yeah, that's what, when we had to put her to sleep, that's what he said. You believe me, you got a lot, you know? And so just feel good about the fact that she lasted 12 years. So
I don't know why, but Great Danes are really, really popular in my town. Like
Okay.
crazy, the amount of Great Danes. I've never seen so many Great Danes in my life, except
Yeah.
before living here. And I gotta tell you, on average, they only make it around 5 years here.
Oh, wow.
I can't even imagine. I don't know why. There
Yeah.
must be some kind of a genetic strain with the ones
Yeah.
around here. And
Yeah.
on average, they make it to 5. So when I hear 12, I'm dumbfounded. When I hear 9, I'm dumbfounded. That's amazing.
And it's
Yeah, it's
so
kinda-
but
Right.
it's so hot where you are. You know, you would think that would affect them. Like,
Yeah, I don't, well, they're kind of a bunch of couch potatoes, so they don't get too anxious, but they don't like the heat. You know, she
Yeah,
goes
I
in, does her
understand.
business, goes out.
Yeah,
we have,
everybody just
we have
got-
a lot of big dogs in our area too. Like right in our neighborhood, there must be at least 10 families that have mastiffs.
Oh,
and we
wow.
live in the city, and they just walk really slow, and they walk like around the block, and that's it for them. They don't.
Yeah, they turn around after they're done and say, okay, I'm pretty much done.
And the other one is a lot of people have Cane Corsos, and that's another like huge, really
Yeah.
big dog, and can't imagine having it in a city house.
Well, you know, it's funny because they're so mellow, and so yes, she's 120 pounds, and that's small for a Dane, and but she just takes up a bed, and she doesn't run around here like crazy, and you know, so it seems like a smart dog to have, because in the city you can walk them 20 minutes twice a day, and that's enough.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so.
Not like you.
Gonna sign off for the night. Good to see everyone.
Bye, Andrea.
See you later. Happy knitting.
Bye, everyone. I'm heading out.
Bye, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
Nice to see you all.
I guess it's dinner time. It's 7:58.
Yeah,
I know.
Here too.
We'll see you guys on Saturday. What day is
Yeah.
it?
How was your camping? How was your camping, Deborah?
It was fun. We had a hoot. We were on jet skis. It was in the 90s the whole time, but the water was cool enough. It was almost, if you were close to shore, it was kind of like getting in a bathtub. It was so warm.
Oh, wow.
But we got on jet skis. We hopped on the boat and went crazy, and so it was fun.
Cool.
Just a couple nights. I go away for a week almost in August. So, but it was good. So, guys, take care on Saturday.
I'm going to say goodbye too. I won't be there on Saturday, but I've signed up for Barn Box and really thinking about the Rhinebeck sweater. So
Yeah, you should do it. Do it.
join us.
Do it. Do it.
I enjoyed this very, very much.
Good. Cool. All right. See you later.
Bye, Susie.
I'll be thinking about Francis, Jean.
Yeah,
Hang
thank
in
you.
there.
Yep.
See you
thanks.
Saturday.
Yep. See you all Saturday.
Bye.
Susan, you're muted.
Okay, I'm getting ready to say goodbye too. I forgot I was muted.
Good to see everyone.
Bye, Linda.
Bye-bye.
And this was awesome.
Oh, great. Well,
was
one more day.
now.
Will you be here Saturday?
I think I have to drive my husband to Dulles. He's headed to Germany and they're switching flights all the time. So I was gonna make it and now I just ran to the bathroom and he said, they switched my flight time again. So, and we're in Baltimore, so it's a little bit of a hike. So
Yeah.
probably not, but I'll see you next Wednesday then if I can't.
Thanks for sharing about your family's terrazzo business. I love terrazzo. We don't live in a home where it would be appropriate, but I always think of it as just a beautiful material to have in your home. And
it is gorgeous.
We had it in school, you know, both schools that I went to, grade school and high school. And I actually worked as a janitor in high school after school when I was in high school. And I used to clean the floors, you know, like the terrazzo floors have a certain like method and everything. And I don't know, I always really liked it. It's cool material.
My grandparents built their own home and then my father and mother built their home, a 50s rancher.
Yeah.
But unlike any 50s rancher you ever saw, because it was terrazzo floors. And my great grandfather was a Mosachisti. So he actually, if you ever get to Pittsburgh, they are well known in the Pittsburgh area. But the beauty with some of the more modern day terrazzo that's been done, they have several things down around the rivers in Pittsburgh, but is the rustic terrazzo sidewalks that reminds me of this stone soup with all the different flecks and natural colors, but it's not smooth, of course, because you'd slip and fall.
Right.
It's more like it's a beautiful product.
Like like it's like almost like pebbly or something.
Yes, it is. It's a rougher surface.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, and you said the travertine, I heard that word my whole life and the certain things and all the different marble chips and hues of the stones coming together in the terrazzo. And it's just beautiful to be able to create that. So, yep. Yeah. So it was neat. It just kind of all connected tonight for me. It's really great. I really appreciate everything, and I'm so happy to have found you and be able to participate.
Yeah, I can't wait to keep going.
Absolutely. I'm ready for the ride along. I've got my tent and I've got my vendage pattern and I'm ready to go.
Oh, that'll be really nice.
And hopefully I'll be finished with my interlocking by then. I'm so close. I'm like 10 rows to the bottom and then just the neck.
Oh, we have like 2 weeks till that starts. So
yeah, I'll be finished by then. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Everybody. Good night, Donna.
I'm going to leave too. You guys have a good night.
All right. I'm shutting it down.
All right.
Good
bye.
night.